Welcome, ladies. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Hope everyone's doing well today. Everybody had a great week. Everybody had a pretty good week.
I had a couple friends that died of cancer.
Mhm.
Couple close friends, and I went to the emergency room. And I went to the doctor today. I have a lot of swelling going on and pain in my left arm. But other than that, I'm doing well.
All right, well, Salaki, I'm sorry to hear about your loved ones that passed away and your pain. And we're gonna continue to keep you uplifted and palau. It's just a lot. It's a lot going on there on the Arets right now in the earth realm. We know the enemy's always busy. We know the adversary is constantly throwing his attacks at us.
Yeah,
Uh,
I believe that.
Constantly. It might manifest spiritually. It might manifest physically. It might manifest as both. But we know that the enemy is constantly throwing these attacks, ambushing us. So we gotta stay prayerful. All right, ladies. Well, welcome to our class. Anybody want to give a testimony? Anybody want to give praises? Anybody want to give esteem, yada, to the Most High on this evening? Is there anybody?
I give praises for being able to join the class. I give praises for the Most High for waking me up this morning and restoring me on my way.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yahuwah. Hallelujah. We're gonna allow as we before we begin class, as we always must allow. So Abi Yahuwah to the Rabbah, Abi Yahuwah for your continuous barakah protection, Abi Yahuwah to the Rabbah, Abi Yahuwah. We're asking for your Abi Yahuwah, your covering all your children, Abi Yahuwah, covering us, our loved ones, our homes, Abi Yahuwah to the Rabbah, Abi Yahuwah for all you have done for us, what you continue to do for us, Abi Yahuwah. We're allowing now against the spirit of infirmity, Abi Yahuwah. We're allowing for healing, for covering, Yahuwah Rapha, Yahuwah Shamar, guard and gird us, Abba, to the Rabbah, Abi Yahuwah. We're allowing Abi Yahuwah for our loved ones, Abi Yahuwah. We're allowing Abi Yahuwah for those who are on the line, those who could not make it today, Abi Yahuwah, for the Yellow Dean, for the children, Abi Yahuwah. We're allowing Abi Yahuwah for your covering, for your protection, Abi Yahuwah. To the Rabbi Abi Yahuwah for your favor that you have shown upon us, Abi Yahuwah. To the Rabbi Abi Yahuwah. We're asking for your forgiveness and your redemption, Abi Yahuwah, for any way we may have offended you, Abi Yahuwah. We ask that you remove all leavening from our hearts, from our lab, Abi Yahuwah. We ask that you give us clean slates, Abi Yahuwah. We ask that you renew us, Abi Yahuwah. To the Rabbi Abi Yahuwah. Make us as unblemished lambs as Yahushua Hamashiach Abi Yahuwah. To the Rabbi Abi Yahuwah. We allow. We as your Kudashim come before you today, Abi Yahuwah, humbly as we can. To the Rabbi Abi Yahuwah. In Yahuwah Bahashem Yahushua Hamashiach name, we allow. Amanah. Amanah. So today's lesson is gonna be an interesting one, I think. We're gonna talk about Black history and inventions, inventors, inventions, innovators in Black history. Now, I know they give us this one little day, right? They give us this one little day on a month. This one little day out of the year, this 1 month. This 1 month, a small month, the smallest month, February 28th, right? 29 days on a leap year every 4 years. So they give us the smallest month on the Roman calendar, right? To celebrate Black histories and inventions and inventors, right? But as I always say, like I see it as Black histories every day, not just 1 month, right? Not just 28 days on the calendar or 29 on the leap year. So we're gonna get into the history of you know, some of our ancestors, things that they have created, men and women. We're going to look at some of the inventions. We're going to look at some of the technology. We're going to look at the patents. We're going to look at a lot of contributions that our people have made to not only better our lives, but just the world in general, right? There's a lot out there. They would have you to believe with this education that that we're taught. We learn a lot about European history. We learn about the Greeks. We learn about the Romans. We don't learn too much about our own history. We might learn about Egyptian history, but then even with that being said, they try to credit Egypt to not people who look like us, right? They try to credit the Egyptian history to people who look like European, right? Or they'll say Middle Eastern, right? But Middle Eastern, that term, we can get into that because even the people of that region, you still have people there who look like us. But the point of that is, when we learn about history, his story, we don't learn about our story. So we're going to talk about our story. We're going to talk about the inventors and inventions of our people and the contributions and how they made life easier for everyone in the world, right? We're going to look at that because that's not discussed as widely as it should be discussed. And we're not given enough credit that we should be given. So we're just going to look at some inventions. We're going to look at the men and women, the Black men and the so-called Black men and women who have made tremendous contributions to society. And I say so-called Black, Black is a misnomer. So we're going to look at that. Sister Malka, may you please so kindly open us up in a PowerPoint presentation? To the Robber. All right, first and foremost, so this is our Sisterhood class. We're here on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, all right? I'm the National Minister of Education, Sister Renah. Okay, this is a TLOJAF Sisterhood class, right? So, like I said, we're here on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. If you know anyone you would like to refer to this class or invite out to see a Zoom or to join a Sisterhood, please have them shoot us an email at TLOJAF777@gmail.com. Okay. I believe there's also a number here at the bottom. Okay. Or maybe it's not on this. Is it not on this one? I think it's on the other one. I'm mistaken. Sorry. So our mission statement. So the mission statement for a Sisterhood class is for the straightening of our nation and community and edification for living set apart, as well as breaking generational curses and old patterns. We're under the leadership of National President Nasi Nasser X. Okay. And this is some of the sisters here. All right. You have Sister Katrina, Sister Queen J, Sister Marka, myself. That's us here on the flyer. Everyone had their different roles and contributions that we make towards the organization and the movement. So we are actually recruiting currently, okay? We are always recruiting. So we are looking for strong sisters who are dedicated and uniting the sisters in the struggle. We must build righteous mentors, to give guidance to the sisters in the nation. Okay, so we're looking for leaders. We're looking for those who are dedicated, those who are motivated. If you know anyone, please have them reach out to us. TLOJAF777@gmail.com. Okay. And once again, we are under the leadership of a national president, Nasi Nasir X. And I apologize, Salaki, about the Yellow Dean yelling in the background if you hear that. Yellow Dean will be Yellow Dean. Children will be children. I'm sorry if you hear them yelling. All right. So we have one of our foremothers here, right? We have a sister here. Her name is Marie Van Britton Brown. All right. So she is an inventor. So she's one of the many, many, many of our people. Salaki. I'm so sorry about the Yellow D. So she is one of she lived from 1922 to 1999. So this sister, she had made major developments in closed circuit television security. All right. So you see the sister here? Yeah, so yeah, this is one of ours. This is one of ours. And she made this contribution to better society and better the world with the security system. Okay. So a lot of people do not know this. So it is important and vital for people to know the inventions and the contributions that our foremothers and forefathers have contributed. Okay. So that's one. That's one out of many. Marie Van Britton Brown. Remember her name. Okay. All right. I guess we can go on to the next one now. All right. So here you just see this list of inventions. It has the names. It has the names of the people and the creations. Right. This is a lot. I'm sorry if the text is very small. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, so you have your hair care products. I'm gonna start from the top. All right, you have the clock, almanac, Benjamin Benneker. All right, then you have your hair straightening cream. We don't really, with the hair straightening cream, but still, nonetheless, is a contribution that we have made. Garrett Morgan. You have your gas mask. Again, that's Garrett Morgan. You have your pencil sharpener. That's J.W. Lowell. Let me see. Can Sister Marker, can you stroll a little bit more to the right? But you have your light. You have your threaded socket and light bulb. That's Louis Latimer. Right. You have the peanuts. Everybody knew this one. I always heard one of the few things in history and social studies we were taught is about the peanuts and the peanut butter. So I think most people kind of know that. Most people here pretty much know George Washington Carver created the peanut products, right? The peanut butter and everything. So I think that's one of the few things they'll like give us credit for. Oh, George Washington created the peanut butter, right? The peanut products. So I think a lot of people know about that one. So you have George Washington Carver again. He also created over 75 pecan products. So a lot of nut related products, right? Then you have your hair care products, Sister Madam C.J. Walker. Then you have your mop, that's Brother Thomas Stewart. Pencil sharpener, we said J.W. Lowell. Your egg beater, W. Johnson. You had your potato chips, Brother George Crumb. You have your mailbox. Are you able to show the bottom names, Sister Monka? Right. So you have your mail. You have You have your dustpan, that's Lloyd Ray. You have your fountain pen, that's William Purvis. Your super soaker water gun, Lonnie Johnson, right? You have Marjorie Joyner, permanent waving machine, okay? Sarah Good, folding cabinet bed. The mailbox. Are you able to stroll to the far right to show us the mailbox inventor? There we go. You have your we want to give all them credit, right? So you have your street letter mailbox. That's Philip Downing. All right. So that's just a list here. And this listen, this doesn't even tip the iceberg, right? This doesn't even touch the surface of how many Black innovators that there are. All right. There's many, many more where that came from. All right. Many, many more. So you have your cellular car phone. That's Henry Samsung. All right. You have your blood plasma bag. Why is that important? Why is the blood plasma bag important? I didn't know I was missing an earring. Why is the blood plasma bag important? Because it made a huge, tremendous contribution and innovation to modern medicine, right? With the blood plasma bag. Many, many countless lives have been saved because of this, right? Because of this, as well as one of our own also doing the first open heart surgery, right? So we made even many innovations when it comes to modern medicine. How many countless millions and millions of lives that have been saved because our people have contributed these things, right? So, and we don't even want to get into some of the patents that were probably stolen during slavery, that were credited to the slave masters and stolen a lot of the patents. But even the ones we do know, there's countless ones. Okay, there's countless ones. So let's see. You have your baby buggy, right? You have your baby buggy. That's William Richardson. William Richardson, the baby buggy. Let's see what else here. You have your elevator. That's Alexander Miles, the elevator. That's another huge contribution, right? It changed the way you transport from one place to another, right? Instead of going 20 flights of stairs, you can now just hop in the elevator, right? So lucky about the noise. You have your lamp, your electrical lamp, okay? That's Louis Latimer. He made the contribution of the electrical lamp. You see your guitar. You have Robert F. Fleming Jr. with the guitar. I think we already discussed the mail box. Your ice cream. Who don't like ice cream? Right? Even though I eat vegan ice cream, but ice cream. That's Augustus Jackson contribution to ice cream. Something so simple, right? But that puts a smile on children's face. It puts a smile on the yellow dean face, and even some adults too, right? Even as simple as a simple of things. All right. So did we discuss the mop? That's Thomas Stewart with the mop. I believe the mailbox we already discussed. Philip Downing, Madam C.J. Walker with the hot comb and other hair care products. This is a very important one. Believe it's Garrett Morgan. The traffic light. So this was a powerful innovation because it deals with safety, right, on the road. So even something as simple as a traffic light made such a huge contribution to society because it changed the way traffic flows. So something even as simple as the traffic light, you know, the way history is taught, the way his story is taught, it will have you believe that we contributed absolutely nothing, right? Because it's not taught, it's not nearly spoken about as much as it should be. But when you just look at the list of contributions tremendously that we have contributed to society, right? The lawnmower, the lawnmower, John Burr, the lawnmower. People who have the backyard, people who have a backyard in a house who live who have a backyard who live in a house, right? You know, if you don't mow your lawn, your grass grows up to your head. So lawnmower is very important to a lot of people. These are just basic things that made life easier for so many people. For so many lives, right, have been positively impacted by these innovations and creations that our people have brought to society. All right, so we already discussed peanut butter, right? We already discussed the peanut butter. We know who created the peanut butter. That's George Washington Carver. So what about this? The imaging X-ray. That's George E. Alcorn. The imaging X-ray. That's another thing that's used in medicine, right? You want to look and see if you have a broken bone or another health issue. A lot of the times they put you under X-ray. Well, guess what? That wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for George Alcorn. All right. So these are just things to know so that, you know, a lot of the children, a lot of Black children, you know, are sitting in the school systems and don't realize that as we're learning about others' history, as we're learning about the Greek and the Roman and all these other histories that don't really pertain to us. Oh, nice. You do she said she do videos on TikTok about this. Excellent. You know, everybody needs to know because a lot of people really are unaware of these powerful contributions. This is a very important one. I'm thinking about getting one for my home. I had to take a fire safety course, right? I had to take a fire safety course. So Thomas J. Martin, the fire extinguisher. So I'm even thinking about getting a fire extinguisher for my home because you just never know, you know. Some apartments have the sprinkler system, some houses and apartments, but not all do. So it's very important to consider these things. A fire extinguisher. So that's Thomas Martin, fire extinguisher, right? Spray the fire, put the fire out. And then they have different kinds. They have the ones for electrical fires. They have one for fire related to another kind of reason. But this is very important to consider. All right. So something like a fire extinguisher, right? That our people contributed even. Amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it still didn't even touch the surface. We still didn't scratch the surface. It's looked like a lot of stuff we just actually went over, but there's hundreds, thousands even of inventions. All right. Was that it for this page, Sister Mocha? Oh, potato chips. I love potato chips. I love the jalapeno kind. I love the kettle chips. So yeah, um, the potato chip. Who invented the potato chip? So Huram S. Thomas created the potato chip. All right. How many people love potato chips? You got Lay's and you got Wise and you got all of these companies making millions upon millions, if not billions of dollars on an invention that one of our people created, right? And you have all these major corporations and companies now profiting because of an invention, because of a creation, because of a patent that a Black person have created. So think about even, oh, excuse me, it's a snack that many people enjoy. But think about even the bigger picture of how many people profit now, right? How many billions of dollars are these major corporations making, and the generational wealth of those families, and how they're becoming rich and wealthy because of one invention, potato chip, that one of us created. Think about it. So these inventions have changed countless lives for the better. Okay. Was that all for this page? Let's see. I believe that was it on this page. Okay, great. Oh, now we have a very, very important contribution here. We call it the maxi pad. Some who are more old school call it the sanitary napkin. But guess who created that? Guess who created that? Did you know it was a sister? Did you know a sister created that? Many don't know that. Many do not know this. Prior to the sanitary napkin, they women use rags. In some cultures, they still use rags where they don't have access to certain things. But this was a very, very important innovation and contribution. Okay, something as simple as a maxi pad. Think of the countless lives for women of all cultures and nationalities and ethnicities, that this has changed their lives for the better. Okay. Sister Marka, is there a way you can zoom in more? Because this should have the sister's name here. I thought it had the sister's name. For some reason, I'm not seeing her name here. Right. Tuda. There you go. Mary Patrice Kenner, the woman who invented the sanitary pads for women. Remember that name, Mary Patrice Kenner. This is one of our very own sisters, and she created the sanitary pad. All right. So she has changed the lives of countless women all around the world. Countless women universally. This one woman,
Right.
and her one creation, her wise mind, right? Her brilliance. She said, "Let me create this." Created the patent for it and put it into fruition, and it became something worldwide and big and something that we all use now, right? Think about how powerful that is. But a lot of people don't even know that it was a Black woman who created this. How many of us learned about this in school? They don't teach us this in school, right? So that's why we're discussing it now, so that everybody could be aware and everybody could be in the know of how many creations that we have created, because this is not taught in the school. The educational system in many ways is flawed. It's flawed in so many ways, and sometimes you have to go and do your own research, and sometimes you have to teach us yourself certain things, because if we're relying on just the school system to just teach us certain things, there's a lot of things that they're missing the mark, and they're not teaching us all of this. A lot of the stuff that we're learning is outside of the public school educational system. But even the charter schools and private schools, I don't think a lot of them are teaching this information. All right. So now that you know Anytime someone tries to downplay us, this is what we know. This is what it is. This is what we contributed to society. So don't sleep on us, because this is what it is. We have contributed. Our mothers and forefathers have contributed many of things to the world, not just America either, all around the world. Period. So it's very important to know. Majority of African Americans would invent different things. Exactly, Michelle. Exactly, Sister Michelle. That's what I was saying too. This doesn't even go into the fact that a lot of the men and women, the melanated men and women of this country, had their patents stolen, especially during slavery. So they might have created a patent, but because they were considered chattels, I don't like to call them slaves. I'll say enslaved people, right? Enslaved people, because they're individuals, they're not property. So I don't like the word slave. Enslaved people, a lot of them would create stuff too, and because they were considered property, right, of the masses, a lot of those things were stolen. All right. They felt that because they owned the slaves, they were exactly, Michelle. She said the slave masters felt because the enslaved people were under their authority. The slave masters felt that, okay, I own these people. So they didn't even think of them as people, really, property. Three fifths of a person, because I own them, that anything that they create is also, I'm entitled to that. So you have a lot of inventions that might have been credited to someone of European descent, but in all actuality, it was created by a brother or sister, you see. So these might not even be outlined in every single creation or invention of our people, because there were a lot that were stolen and credited to white people. You understand? So just want to put that out there too. But these are the ones that we do know, that we have the evidence that brothers and sisters have created. All right. So that's a very important one. Mary Patrice Kenner created the sanitary napkin, or AKA maxi pad, that many countless women use today. All right. And now you have the different versions. You have the ones with wings, one without wings. You have the ones that's light. You have the ones for overnight. You have the ones for heavy. You have the ones for light. You have the moderate. You have so many different versions of the maxi pads. But case in point is that this sister is an originator of that creation. That's what it all boils down to. She's the originator of this creation. Amazing, right? And they're not gonna teach you this in no school system. Because I don't remember learning about this. And I'm almost 35 years old. And I don't remember learning about this at all. In no American history class. Heck, I even took African American class one time. And I don't even remember learning about this. All right. No social studies class, no US history class. They're not teaching us this. You know why? Because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So when you have knowledge of self, that's powerful. And that manifests in how you carry yourself and how you think, right? How you believe. So I kind of think, in a way, the educational system can be weaponized, because if you're just taught about one part of history, but you're not taught the full scope of history, which was the excellence, the greatness, the positive contributions, the rich history. But if you're just taught, listen, you were beaten, you were broken, you were enslaved, and that's all you're taught, and you carry over that mindset, and then the children, the younger generations, they're walking around kind of mopey and hopeless, because they don't think that that our people contribute anything to society. So a lot of us unfortunately have that defeatist mindset. Oh, see, Sister Michelle said her Yellow Dean, her children complain about the history class. Of course. Of course. And that's another thing. Children sit in these classes and they're bored as heck, and then they living on what ADHD and ADD, and give them all this medicine, this pharmakeia, because these children are sitting through these classes and they're not interested. They're not interested. But if they start being taught a different way and they learning the truth, I think that would make a tremendous impact on just the mindset, the mentality. And that's another reason why it's vital that we develop our own schools. So that's something that line of Judah Armed Forces, another goal of ours. Okay. Another goal of TLOJF is to, we want to get to that point where we do, if we're talking about self-sufficiency and being autonomous, part of that is the school system. Even the Muslims, even the Nation of Islam, I'm not mistaken, they have their own schools. You know, I'm in Harlem. There's some schools, Muslim schools we have. So they have their own schools. Um, we don't have our own schools. We don't have our own hospitals. You know, we get into that another time about the the medical industry and the lack of people, the lack of Black people in the medical and in the hospitals, and the doctors and the nurses and the midwives, and how we need more of those, even because um Black women, there's a disparagement in the medical. When you look at the stats, a lot of us are dying in childbirth more and stuff like that. And there was a book that even showed how they view us, the stereotypes and the generalizations, how they view us compared to the other races of women. They think we feel pain less, and they don't think we need medicine more, and they don't think we need they don't think we need assistance as much. So you'll see a lot of the time the sisters are just crying out saying, I'm in pain, I need medicine, I need medical assistance, and they're ignoring them. These are actual books where these doctors, these medical professionals in the hospitals are saying these are where we view, these groups of people, right? And then you see a lot of sisters are dying, and infants too. Black infants are dying because of the racism in the medical system. So you see it all across the board. It's the medical system, it's the school system, it's all across the board. So we're doing our due diligence just to, re-educate and just undo the lies and his story that we've been told. All right, this is our story. Not We don't want to hear his story. We want to hear our story. All right. Sister Martha, was that I think that was the last. Okay. So it says her invention has helped millions of women and children to get rid of various diseases. Respect for this lady. Respect. Y'all better put some respect on her name. Right? But put some respect on her name. This lady has helped, because of her invention of the sanitary napkin, has helped to rid various diseases for girls and women. Millions of lives. Put some respect on her name, right? Put some respect on the sister name. Powerful. And this is the reason that's not taught, because if this is taught in the school system, knowledge is power. They don't want you to be empowered. They don't want you to be empowered. So it's all a part of that weaponization of the educational system. You're taught about the greatness of Rome and Greece and Europe, but you're not taught about the greatness of us. You can't be, because that's too empowering, right? So it said 120 things you probably didn't know were created by Black inventors. All right. 120. And even though that's a lot, there's still millions, thousands, right? So this is gives more detail, but even here it's not scratching the surface. you know, but it gives a good amount. All right. So you had the folding cabinet bed. Did we speak about the folding cabinet bed? All right. Okay. And if any of you ladies would like to read, you can please just let us know. You can type it in the chat or unmute and say, and then you can always read if you want. So you had the folding cabinet bed, right? So in 1885, you had Sarah Good, and she became the first Black woman to receive a U.S. patent. So she moved to Chicago and she opened a furniture store. It was there she came up with an industry changing the idea that brought more urban residents with limited space into their store. We discussed the potato chip. So George Crumb, he created that. The gas mask, Garrett Morgan, he developed that. He called this safety hood after noticing how many firefighters were killed by smoke on the job. Excuse me, Salaki. So the gas mask. Oh, that's another one. Okay, so this brother Garrett Morgan, so he's seeing that firefighters were dying on the job. So y'all know that gas mask y'all see the firefighters wearing today? Give all props to Garrett Morgan, because Garrett Morgan said, wow, I see all these firefighters passing away on the job due to the smoke inhalation. So he created the gas mask, and that saved, again, millions of lives. Not only is it saving the lives of the firefighters, the brave men and women who go out to rescue these people and put out the fires. In New York, we call them I think it's New York's bravest or something, FDNY. But so you have these brave men and women who are going out to help people, right, in the fires, and put out the fires, to lessen the damage of property and also save lives. But they're putting their lives at risk, right? They have families to go home to as well. But then you have the actual people who are victims of the fire, that these firefighters are helping them. So not only is it helping the firefighters, it's helping the people who's being saved as well from the fire. So something like a gas mask, think of how many countless lives that has saved. Think of how many lives it has preserved, because the firefighters and the victims, the firefighters have to be themselves protected to go out and fight the fires, right? To save these lives. So with something like this that brother Garrett Morgan created, he made it possible where now it's still dangerous, but it's still a dangerous job, but it's safer than it was before, because now they have this gas mask, and that gas mask helps protect them from the smoke inhalation. So it says the hood, which went over the head, featured tubes connected to wet sponges that filtered out smoke and provided fresh oxygen. Right. So this is wonderful, right? Then you had the protective mailbox. So Philip B. Downing, he created the mailbox design that featured an outer door and an inner safety door to avoid parcels being stolen. This safety device allowed mailboxes to be set up everywhere. Everybody gets mail, right? Everybody gets their mail delivered. So think about the fact that brother Philip Downing created something like a mailbox so that everybody can get their deliveries, right? You got USPS and Amazon and UPS and FedEx. You got all these different postal carriers and mail services now, and it's made possible that we're receiving this mail because of brother Philip Downing. They were able to set up the mailboxes worldwide. So then you have the blood bank. So regardless of, some of us may agree, some of us may disagree with blood banking or blood transfusions. I know the Jehovah's Witness, they don't really agree with it. But the fact of the matter is, brother George Richard Drew became interested in researching the preservation of blood when he was studying at Columbia University. So Drew discovered a method of separating red blood cells from plasma and then storing the two components separately. So this new process allowed blood to be stored for more than a week, which was the maximum at the time. Drew documented these findings in a paper that led to the first blood bank. So, like I said, regardless of, how one may disagree or agree or, with the blood transfusions, but the fact of the reality is that this method had saved countless lives. All right. So you had the improved ironing board. So in the late 19th century, the ironing board was introduced by Sister Sarah Boone. All right. So one of the first Black women in the U.S. history to receive a patent, she created a narrow and curved design, making it easier to iron garments. Boone's design morphed into the modern board that we use today. So the ironing board existed already, but what she did is she made innovations to it to make it easier to iron the garments. Okay. So she improved the ironing board. We already discussed Sister Mary Van Britton Brown with the home security system. So she was an African American nurse, and she devised an early security unit for her own home. So she and her husband took out a patent for the system in the same year, and they were awarded the patent 3 years later. So in 1969, that's the year my parents were born. Home security system, commonly used today, took various elements from her design. We discussed the traffic light with Brother James Morgan. So he was the first Black person in Cleveland, Ohio to own a car. Wow, that's powerful. First Black person in Cleveland, Ohio to own a car. So after he witnessed several car accident after he witnessed a severe car accident at an intersection in the city, he expanded on the current traffic light by adding a yield component, warning oncoming drivers of an impending stop. Okay, so this brother Garrett Morgan, first Black person in Cleveland, Ohio to own a car, and he witnessed the automobile accident, and so it inspired him to be like, you know what, I'm going to create this traffic light with the yield symbol. All right, so that dramatically changed the way that traffic flows today. You have refrigerated trucks. So Frederick McKinley Jones created a roof-mounted cooling system that was used to refrigerate goods on trucks during extended transportation in the mid-1930s. He received a patent for his invention in 1940 and co-founded the U.S. Thermal Control Company, later known as Thermo King. Wonderful. Then you have the automatic elevator doors. So Alexander Miles took out a patent in 1887 for a mechanism that automatically opens and closes elevator shaft doors. His designs are largely reflected in elevators used today. So you see the elevator with the open and closed doors? That's his invention. That's Brother Alexander Miles' invention. Amazing, right? I remember reading something about they have the different type of elevators before, but they were dangerous. And I remember reading something about a child had fell and I don't remember if she survived, but she was severely injured. So that's why this invention of the current elevators we have is very, very vital. So you have your electric microphone. Dr. James W. West co-invented a electric microphone, which was less expensive to produce than the typically used condenser microphones. Anybody remember the IBM computers? The color IBM PC monitor and gigahertz chip. So you can thank Mark Dean for co-inventing the color monitor. Without his invention, we still be typing in a colorless interweb. So all you see today when we're using the internet, everything is in color. That's thanks to this brother here, Mark Dean. All right. So you have your super soaker, the water guns. So some are just wouldn't be the same without Lonnie Johnson's invention. So Johnson was an aerospace engineer for NASA who happened to invent the popular children's toy. I remember the super soaker those summers. Right. So tissue holder. So Mary Davidson invented both the tissue holder while disabled from multiple sclerosis. Wow. So this lady had MS, and she still invented this. She still invented the tissue holder, even with her disability. We discussed peanut butter, right? That's Brother George Washington Carver. All right. He created a lot of peanut products, including the peanut butter. Laser facto. So Patricia Bath, she was an ophthalmologist and she was a laser scientist. So she invented a device and a technique used to remove cataracts and revive patients' eyesight. So Sister Patricia Bath created she's an ophthalmologist, an eye doctor, and a laser scientist. So her invention, laser Facto Pro, actually helped to remove cataracts from people's eyes and revive their vision. It's amazing, I'm telling you. It's amazing. So how about the automatic gear shift, right? So the automatic gear shift was Brother Richard Spikes. He created the automatic gear shift, helping people drive up hills everywhere. So that's very important. Then you have your clothes dryer. That's Brother George C. Sampson. He created the clothes dryer in 1892. So without that, everybody will still be air drying their clothes. Which is nothing wrong with it, but this is just innovation here. So you had your dustpan. Thanks to Lord P. Ray, we can sweep things out from under the rug. How convenient has something as simple as a dustpan been for so many people, right? That's thanks to Brother Lloyd Ray. So your folding chair. So John Purdy created the folding chair. I'm sitting in a folding chair right now. So this was used in picnics and school graduations. It's used in so many places now. A folding chair, right? Golf tees was a totally different sport before George Grant came along. All right. You had your ice cream scooper. It's a thing when you scoop the ice cream, it comes out in a little ball, perfect ball like this. So that was Alfred L. Crawley. He invented the ice cream scooper, allowing kids to have larger scoops than spoonfuls. Amazing, I'm telling you. You had your lawnmower. I think we did discuss the lawnmower. This was John Albert Burr. He fully made the lawnmower, bringing better traction, rotary blades, and allowed cutting closer to buildings. And you had your lawn sprinkler. This invention by Joseph A. Smith helped dads everywhere keep their grass green while allowing kids a fun toy to jump around in. All right. So you have your modern day toilet, and you can give thanks to Brother Thomas Elkins for your porcelain throne. Without him, your bathroom break certainly wouldn't be as comfortable. We have the mop. We all need to mop, right? Thomas W. Stewart created the mop, which helps the ease to backbreaking labor. All right. You have so many wonderful inventions and patents here and innovations that our people have contributed to society. Is there more at the bottom here, Sister Malcolm? Wow, it just goes on. I told y'all it's so much. Reversible baby stroller. So William Richardson created the first baby stroller with independent wheel. I don't even want to discuss. It says drag queens. Okay. William Dorsey, the first drag queen in the U.S. Look, Logomania. So Dapper Dan took the logos of designer brands and used them for apparel, furniture, and more, according to the Black Innovators Museum. All these were also created by Black inventors. All right, let's see. So you have, listen, it's a lot. It's a lot. Paper, chess, alphabet, medicine, um, Servant Trey Walker, airplane propelling, James S. Adams, biscuit cutter, A.P. Ashbourne, coin changer, James A. Bauer. You had let's see, rotary engine, Andrew J. Bird, car Copler, Andrew J. Bird, letterbox, G.E. Becker, stainless steel pads, Alfred Benjamin from the stainless steel pads. All right. Wow. You see, they don't teach you this in history, right? They don't teach you this in social studies. Torpedo discharger, that's H. Bradbury. Disposable syringe, that's Phil Brooks. Corn planter, Henry Blair. Cotton planter, Henry Blair. So Henry Blair must have been a farmer of some sort, right? Must have been a farmer of some sort. He's creating these things related to agriculture. Let's see. So you have your street sweepers. You know, after a big parade, you see those big street sweepers come and clean the streets, right? We can't forget Jesse Russell. Can't forget Jesse Russell. So you have C.B. Brooks, street sweepers, horse brittle bit. That's L.F. Brown, horseshoe, Oscar E. Brown, train alarm, R.A. Butler. Image converter, radiation detector, pants and stands, George W. Carver, lotions and soaps. Again, that's George W. Carver. Wow. Automatic fishing reel, George Cook, ice cream mold, AI. Sorry, I just had a notification pop up. AI Crow, printing press, WA Lava Letts, and envelope seal, FW Leslie. Laser fuse, Lester Lee. Pressure cooker, Maurice W. Lee. Window cleaner, A.L. Lewis. Portable pencil sharpener, John L. Love. So it's technology, it's household cleaning items, it's beauty and hair products, it's the medical field. It's so many different areas of life, right? Fire extinguisher, Tom W. Marshall. So not only did our people create the mask to help the firefighters breathe in the smoke, but we also created the extinguisher to put out the fire. So you have the fire extinguisher and the gas mask, and both have made tremendous contributions to helping the firefighters, right? So shoe lasting machine, that was John Matt Zilliger. Rocket catapult, Hughes McDonald, and hairbrush Lyda Newman. Listen, we could go on and on. Don't let anyone ever try to downplay us. Heat and Furnace, Alice H. Parker, Blip, J.F. Pickering, Hand Stamp, W.B. Parvis, Fountain Pen, W.B. Parvis once again. I know it's a lot when it said hundreds, if not thousands, of inventors, right? And innovators. Is there more at the bottom, Sister Marka? Yeah, it goes on. I'm telling you. But it's amazing. Dustpan, IP Raid, Insect Destroyer Gun, AC Richardson, Sugar Refinement, and Rulufs, Cellular Phone, Henry Sampson. I think I pronounced that wrong. Sister Marka, you're good with French. Certain Curtain Rod, SR Scottron, urinalysis machine, Dewey Sanderson. Player piano, Joseph Dickinson. Arm for record player, again, Joseph Dickinson. See, it's a lot here now. Doorstop, O. Dorsey. Doorknob, O. Dorsey. Photo print wash, Catalia J. Dorticus. Photo embossing machine, again, Catalia J. Dorticus. So even you see some people here on this list created multiple things. And then it kind of gives you a little inspiration, like, you know, we can create something, you know. Guitar, Robert Fleming Jr. Motor was J. Gregory. Thermal hair curlers was Solomon Harper, and the lantern was Michael Harney. Yeah, it gives you some inspiration, some motivation, you know. Gas burner, B.F. Jackson. Kitchen table, H.A. Jackson. Bicycle frame, Isaac R. Johnson. And the wrench was John A. Johnson. Eye protector, P. Johnson. Egg beater, W. Johnson. Air conditioning unit, Frederick M. Jones. How many people will be suffering in the summer scorching heat, right? Internal combustion engine, Frederick M. Jones. Starter generator, Frederick M. Jones. And the refrigerator controls, Frederick M. Jones. About 3 inventions. Clothes dresser, John H. Jordan. Bottle caps, Jones and Long. Electric lamp, Latimer and Nichols. Hydraulic shock absorber, Ralph Sanderson. Refrigerator, J. Standard. Stair climbing wheelchair, Rufus J. Weaver. Fire escape ladder, J.B. Winters. Telephone transmitter, Granville T. Woods. Electric cutoff switch, Granville T. Woods. Whew. I know it's a lot, but I see that just goes to show you, you know, how much we're not taught and how downplayed our contributions are. Relay instrument, Granville T. Woods. Telephone system, Granville T. Woods. Electric match brake, Granville T. Woods. Galvanic battery, Granville T. Woods. Roller coaster. I love roller coasters, y'all. Even though I feel like your heart dropping through your stomach, but I love roller coasters. Michelle just posted a link. Interesting engineering. Just posted a link in the chat. So you do these. Sister Michelle says she does TikTok videos also about Black history. So Granville T. Woods, he also created the auto air brake. The helicopter was Paul E. Williams. Ice cream, Augustus Jackson. And that's interesting with the helicopter, because think about how the military, you know, uses the helicopters, right? What is it, the Air Force, right? Think about how important these contributions are to even the military, right? Let's see. You had your pacemaker, that's Otis Boykin. That, you know, think about how many people need that to keep their heart going, right? A pacemaker. Millions of lives saved here. Space shuttle retrieval arm, W.M. Harwell. Programmable remote controllers, Joseph N. Jackson. Your video commander, that's Joseph N. Jackson once again. Listen. Is there more at the bottom, Sister Marco? Is there any more? And then you have your multi-stage rocket. Rocket now. That was Adolph Sands. Absolutely amazing. I know that was a lot, but it was just something that we all should know. All right. So you have your historical Black and inventors who modernized the world. This is another article. All right. So this says representation is crucial and it is essential to amplify stories from marginalized groups. We are considered a marginalized group. They call us a minority, right? In this country, we are called a minority. I can get into that later. I don't really like the term minority because I feel like it minimizes us. But we are considered a marginalized group in a way, even though we do have some representation, but it could be better, right? During Black History Month, we want to showcase the stories of historical Black innovators who modernized the world. So these important individuals helped revolutionize technology and the gadgets we have today. So it says continue reading to find out more about these historical.
Something is wrong with your mic, sister.
Something's wrong with my mic, y'all? Is it breaking
Yes.
up? All right, let me see if I could do this. Is it still breaking up?
Yes.
It's still the same? All right, I'm gonna exit and come right back in. How is it? How is it?
Yes, much better.
Much better? All righty. Great, great, great. All right, I had to exit and come back in. All right, I'm gonna go back to reading. Did everyone see me?
Yes.
Okay. To the robber. Hold on just a minute. Okay, I'll go back to reading the article now. Salaki, sorry about that, everybody. So these important individuals helped revolutionize technology and the gadgets we have today. And continue reading to find out more about these historical Black inventors. That's the table of contents. We're just going to jump straight into the article, okay? So it's probably a repeat of some people, but you know, different articles has different information. So we're just going to look into the information they have. Christina Jenkins, I think, did we discuss Christina Jenkins? I believe we did with the hair weaving method. We discussed Patricia E. Bath. We discussed Brother Alexander Miles. So these are the Black pioneers of innovation we're going to discuss. Says these pioneers made a large impact on generations to come with their innovations. Here are some of these entrepreneurs and their stories. So born in 1867 as Sarah Breedlove, Madam C.J. Walker was the first of 5 children born a free citizen after the Emancipation Proclamation. Her struggle with the scalp ailment and hair loss inspired her to invent the Walker system, which is a line of hair care products catered to African Americans. This system involved the use of scalp preparation, lotions, and ironing combs specifically made for Black hair. Before this, the Black hair care industry was predominantly manufactured by Caucasian-owned businesses that did not pay attention to the health and specific needs for this hair type. Pay attention to that. So before Sister Madam C.J. Walker invented her hair care line, the hair products were predominantly owned by Caucasian people, white people, right? And they didn't pay special attention to the hair type that Black people have, right? They focus on their hair type, not our hair type, right? Okay, so it says, Madam C.J. Walker's system completely transformed the Black hair care industry. And she later became the first self-made African-American millionaire in America. So she was a millionaire. Additionally, with this newfound wealth, Madam C.J. Walker created to fund scholarships for women and donated large amounts of money to the NAACP, the Black YMCA, and various other charities. All right, so now I do remember actually learning about Madam C.J. Walker in school, but like I said, it was very limited on what they taught us about Black history. All right, so you had Garrett Morgan. Garrett Morgan is the modern day traffic signal. That's where it comes from. Actually, Brother Garrett Morgan was born in Paris, Kentucky, back in 1877. Garrett Morgan had a drive for innovation. So one evening, Morgan witnessed a horrific accident. We spoke about this at a Cleveland intersection, and it led him to think about how this accident could have been prevented. So that's when Garrett Morgan invented the traffic signals. At the time, it only had consisted of two modes, stop and go. So this made drivers stop abruptly since they were unaware of when to slow down. All right. So you know how now we have the traffic light with the red, yellow, and green. So before they only had stop and go, but the yellow is what signals you to come to a to slow down, to yield. So he made an innovation where now, to prevent these accidents, it has the yield signal. So this made drivers stop abruptly since they were unaware when to slow down. So it says Morgan invented the third signal known as caution to warn drivers when they would have to stop. So in 1923, Morgan was awarded the patent for the 3-signal traffic light, and he is the inventor behind the traffic signals we use today. Hello, Department of Motor Vehicles. Hello. Patricia E. Bath, laser cataract surgery. So born in 1942, Patricia E. Bath was a trailblazer from the start. So in 1974, she was the first woman ophthalmologist, faculty member in the University of California at Los Angeles School of Medicine in Julius Stein Eye Institute. So then 9 years later, she became the first woman to chair an ophthalmology residency program in the nation. Due to her expertise in advocacy for blindness prevention, she was the inventor of the laser factor probe, which was a new device and method to remove cataracts. So this invention has helped more than 3 million people per year since 2018, and it has significantly reduced the risk associated with this type of eye surgery. Then you had Christina Jenkins. She was a hair weave method. Okay. Beautiful sister here, right? So she was actually born on Christmas Day in 1920. Christina M. Jenkins is one of the most revolutionary figures when it comes to the hair weaving process. While working for a wig manufacturer in Chicago, Christina experimented with new ways to secure wigs and hairpieces. While then moving to Ohio, she continued to study sewing and commercial hair and the customers' natural hair and the effects this technique had. So in 1951, Jenkins received a patent for her invention of the hair weaving method known as the hair weave technique, which allows hairstyles to be kept in place longer without the need for hairpins. After this patent, she traveled around the world teaching this technique, which is still used by hairstylists globally. All right. So you had, we discussed Sister Marie Van Breton Brown with the home security system. So she was born in 1922, Queens, New York. Holla! Mary Van Britten Brown was an innovative thinker, working late nights as a nurse. So Marie Van Britten Brown became fearful of her safety living in the neighborhood with rising crime. So alongside her husband, Albert Brown, she invented the first closed circuit television security system, complete with multiple peepholes, cameras, remote security television monitors, and a direct alarm to police. Now, today we have all of these different home security systems, right? But this sister was the inventor of this all. right? Additionally, she created a voice component where she could speak to the person outside of her home. Her 1966 home security patent would later influence over 32 modern day security systems that we use today. So that is a very, very important contribution. People use her technology today to protect their homes against invasions and intruders, right? Their homes being vandalized. So you had Alexander Miles, who was with the automatic elevator doors. We discussed this brother also. That's the brother right there in the picture. You get to see what he looks like. So in 1838, Alexander Miles was born in a small town in Ohio. And during this time, elevator doors had to be manually closed by operators. Y'all remember seeing that in the older movies? Those manual operated elevators, and they had somebody had to operate it. So he made the innovation with the elevators, right? So before it had to be manually closed by operators, and there were frequent incidents of people having horrific accidents when the elevator shaft was not closed properly. So because of his invention, was able to save and transform lives. So to prevent these tragedies from continuing to happen, Alexander started thinking. So he created a mechanism where an attachment to the elevator cage could indicate when the elevator has reached the floor. Brilliant, right? In addition, this belt attachment allowed the elevator to open and close once reaching a respective floor, increasing the device safety and efficiency. He was granted a patent in 1887 for this invention and has created the basis of the automatic elevator doors we use today. All right. So then you had Alfred L. Crowe with ice cream scooper. As a young boy, Alfred L. Crowe was interested in mechanics. Born in Virginia in the year 1866, Alfred was sent to one of the schools in Washington, D.C., which was created to educate African Americans after the Civil War. So in his job as a porter in a hotel, he noticed servers struggling to dish out the ice cream with the standard spoon. Yeah, it is a little hard to use a regular spoon. So this led him to think and then invent the ice cream scooper. So in 1897, Crowe was awarded this patent for the ice cream mold and disher, which is the one-hand invention ice cream stores use today. Yeah, so if you go to ice cream stores today, this is what they use. They don't use a regular spoon. They use his invention as a scooper, all right? Get that ice cream nice out in the ball and then put the scoops in the cones or the cups. They're using his invention today, still to this day, all right? So you see our sister here, Bessie Blount Griffin, self-feeding device for amputees. She was born in Virginia in 1914. She set out to do great things when she was a schoolgirl. Bessie taught herself not only to be ambidextrous, but also she could write using her feet and teeth. Wow. This skill turned out to be useful later on in life when she became a physical therapist for soldiers who became amputees due to their combat in World War II. So while she was working with these veterans, she noticed the biggest challenge for amputees was being able to eat without assistance. So this led her to create an electric self-feeding device that can transport individual bites of food into the patient's mouth. Her invention was actually sold to the French government and Belgians due to the U.S. government rejecting her patent. So this sister had to go to Europe and sell her patent because the U.S. government rejected it. However, her other inventions like the portable receptacle support were granted a patent by the U.S. government in 1951. It's actually not that long ago. So here's the importance of Black innovators. Black inventors, rather, innovators too. These are just a few notable Black inventors who have improved our nation's health, safety, and environment. Black innovators have elevated the United States, and they are a crucial part. Are you able to stroll? They are a crucial part of our history, it is essential to pay tribute to these inventors' accomplishments, and not only that they and not only those that they made to society as we know it today, but the ways they've improved the world for generations to come too. All right. So to learn more about other historical Black figures and educate yourself on Black History Month, you can click here. You can go to the website. But like I said, it don't have to be just Black History Month. The website is moneylion.com /learn/Black dash inventors. All right, for anyone interested. Money Lions, the site. So yeah, it don't have to be February, for us to go over this. Like I said, Black history could be every day. You can learn about Black history on any day of the week, any time of the month, any time of the year, any month. It's not limited to just February on a Roman calendar, because that's what they've taught us. Because that's the day they gave us. That's the month that they gave us. So, okay. And then I think there's one more article, Sister Marco, and that's the History Channel. History.com. Right, history.com. And then this will be the last one. So you have 8 Black inventors who made what does that say? I gotta zoom out. Who made daily life easier. So these are Black innovators, changed the way we all live through their Black innovators changed the way we live through their contributions, from the traffic light to the ironing board. So like I said, you'll probably see like a repeat of some of the names here. Most people have heard about famous inventions like the light bulb, the cotton gin, and the iPhone, but there are countless other often overlooked inventions that make our daily lives easier. Among the creative innovators behind these devices are African-American inventors. From the traffic light to the ironing board, see a list of products that have sprung from the minds of Black. Let's see, there's an ad here. Are you able to close up the ad system? Yeah, that sprung from the minds of Black inventors. All right. So let's see here. So we already discussed Sarah Boone. She improved the ironing board in 1892. The ironing board is a product that's used possibly just as much as overlooked in the late 19th century. It was improved upon by Sarah Boone, an African-American woman who was born enslaved. One of the very first Black women in U.S. history to receive a patent, she expanded upon the original ironing board, which was essentially a horizontal wooden block originally patented in 1858. So with Boone's 1892 additions, the board featured a narrower and curved design, making it easier to iron garments, particularly women's clothing. So Boone's design would morph into the modern day ironing board that we use today. Okay. That's Sister Sarah Boone. So we just discussed Sister Mary Van Berton Brown in 1986. Before security systems became a fixture in homes, an African-American nurse, Mary Van Britton Brown, devised an early security unit for her own home. She spent many nights at home alone in Queens, New York, while her husband was away, and she felt unsafe with high rates of crime in her neighborhood. So on top of that, police were unreliable and unresponsive. So she created a device that will help put her mind at ease. Okay. Sister Mary Van Britton Brown. This is what you get your security systems from. Okay. In 1966, Brown invented a system that used a camera that could slide into and look through four peepholes in her front door. The camera view would then appear on a monitor in her home, so she could survey any potentially unwarranted guests. Y'all, what is the security system now that they use today that has a little camera? I forgot the name of it. People put it outside their door, and you can see what they're doing from the camera. You can view it from your phone. If it comes to me, I'll
Ring door ring.
Go ring doorbell. So if this sister hadn't created this, Where the heck would all of these security systems be today? She thought of this first, right? So I mean, yeah, they made advancements and improvements and modifications, but this sister, because of her fearing her own safety, right, in Queens, New York, and her husband not being home, she said, you know, I'm going to create this security system. So yeah, you have the ring, and you have all these other shield your home, a Sloman shield, and all these different security systems. But make no mistake about it, the originator was this sister right here. All right. This was the originator. She made it possible that countless homes today have that protection and security from invasions and intruders, right? Being burglarized. Okay. So thanks to this sister, let's put some respect on her name. She added other features to the system, including a microphone to speak to anyone at the door, a button to unlock the door, and a button to contact the police. She and her husband took out a patent for the system in the same year, and they were awarded the patent 3 years later in 1969. Home security systems commonly used today took various elements from her design. Okay. So yep, you got Ring and you got Alexa and Sloman Shield and all these security systems today that started off with this one sister here and her bright idea, right? Is there more at the bottom here, Sister Mocha? All right, we discussed this. We discussed the brother here with the three symbol traffic light. All right, so the three light traffic signal, as we know, was invented by Garrett Morgan in 1923. I know it's repetitive. It's good to have this edge into our brains now, right? These names were only with only an elementary school education, all right? So he only had an elementary school education, and he was a Black innovator and son of an enslaved parent. Garrett Morgan came up with several significant inventions, including an improved sewing machine and the gas mask. Oh, we didn't discuss the sewing machine previously. However, one of Morgan's most influential inventions was the improved traffic light. So Morgan was one of the first three light systems that were invented in the 1920s, resulting in widespread adoption of the traffic lights we take for granted today. So this was in the 1920s. This wasn't even that long ago. So prior to the three signal traffic light we have now with the red, the yellow, and the green, it was just two signals, stop and go. So this is interesting. It hasn't even been that long since he created this. So think of all the collisions that this man has avoided by creating this. Thanks to the successes of his other inventions, Morgan bought I guess it meant a car, that's a typo, a car, and as a motorist, he witnessed a severe car accident at an intersection in his city of Cleveland, Ohio. So as we have previously discussed, Morgan, because of the car accident he witnessed, he decided to create this three signal traffic light. So in response, can you show up a little bit, sister? So in response, I meant to say stroll down, I'm sorry. All right, so in response, he decided to expand on the current traffic light by adding a yield component. So he was warning oncoming drivers of an impending stop. He took out the patent for the creation in 1923, and it was granted to him the following year. All right. Wow. And then it says how an enslaved African man in Boston helped save generations from smallpox. I never even heard of that one. Guess we could get into that at another time. An enslaved African man in Boston helped save generations from smallpox. It's interesting. Was there more to this article, Sister Marco, or was that it? Okay, so you have the refrigerated trucks invented by brother Frederick McKinley Jones in 1940. So if your refrigerator has any produce from your local grocery, you can credit African American inventor Frederick McKinley Jones. So Jones took on more than 60 patents throughout his life, including a patent for the roof-mounted cooling system that's used to refrigerate goods on trucks during extended transportation in the mid-1930s. He received a patent for his invention in 1940, and he co-founded the U.S. Thermal Control Company, later known as Thermo King. So it says the company was critical during World War II, helping to preserve blood, food, and supplies during the war. Look at that. See how much we, our people, our forefathers have contributed, right? I don't even honestly know where the state of the world would be without some of these contributions. I really don't know. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So that wraps up that. So anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that anyone didn't know that you learned from today's lesson? I know, we were taught some of this, but there's a lot of inventions and people that go overlooked. And I just wanted to, educate everyone. So now that, you have this, and like I said, there's way more where that came from, but, on your own time, when you want to, you can just research it, do your due diligence, and look into the countless, many more names of inventions of our people, brothers and sisters who have contributed to society to better and improve the lives of millions of people worldwide. In your own time when you can, look into it. So don't ever let anyone tell you that we didn't contribute nothing, because it's a bold-faced lie. Don't ever let anybody tell you that we didn't contribute nothing, that we're an intelligent group of people, because as you could see, that was a bold-faced lie. Even with just a basic elementary school education, enslaved parents or coming out of slavery, they were still able to put their brilliant minds to use and create these wonderful things, right? So that just goes to show you. You don't have to have a fancy education just to have a brilliant mind. You could be very intelligent and create these things with even a basic education. So anybody have any questions? I know Sister Michelle said that this is something that she does. This is right up your alley, Sister Michelle. This is something you do on TikTok. You educate the masses so that people can know, people need to be aware. Give credit where credit is due. Give credit where credit is due. And like we said, there might be countless other inventions and creations and patents that got stolen during slavery, right? Or during Jim Crow, that we didn't get credit for. But these are just the ones that we do have the evidence for. Okay. Anybody have any thing to contribute to the conversation before we wrap up? We're gonna palau and then we're gonna wrap up in a little bit. Just a minute. So lucky about that. So anybody have any questions, concerns, comments before we wrap up? We're gonna go into palau. We're gonna palau out of here.
Mommy, can we have these kind of cookies?
Oh, hold on just. So lucky about the yellow tea. All right, so we're gonna if anybody don't have anything to say, we're gonna now wrap up. Okay. So to the Rabbi Abiyahuwah, most merciful and precious Father, to the Rabbi Abiyahuwah, for all you continue to do for your children, Abiyahuwah. Your daughters come to you on this day, Abiyahuwah. We would like to give all thanks, Abiyahuwah, all praise, O Yada, Abiyahuwah, for you are worthy to be praised, Abiyahuwah. For you are the Alab and the Tav and the Alpha and Omega, Abiyahuwah, the beginning and the end, Abiyahuwah. There is no one like you, Abiyahuwah. You are capable of all things. There is nothing that we can do without you, Abiyahuwah. You are magnificent, Abiyahuwah. And everything you do, Abiyahuwah. We may not understand why you do certain things, Abiyahuwah, but you know why you do certain things. You know why you allow certain things to happen, Abiyahuwah. We're allowing today on the line for Sister Queen J, Abiyahuwah, for Sister Queen J, and the loved ones that have left this earth realm, Abiyahuwah. We're allowing for the souls, for the protection of those souls, Abiyahuwah. And we're asking for the protection and healing and guarding over the families and the friends, Abiyahuwah, of those who have departed from us, Abiyahuwah. And anyone else who is grieving on this line today or who could not make it on this line, we're asking for their healing protection, Abiyahuwah. If they're going through any grievances or any losses, Abiyahuwah, if they're going through any mourning of loved ones, Abiyahuwah, if they're going through any infirmities, we allow for those who are on this line and those who aren't, Abiyahuwah, we allow for their loved ones, for their family, Abiyahuwah. To the Rabbi Abiyahuwah, for just continuing to bestow barakah upon us, Abiyahuwah, for giving us the necessities we need for daily living, food, shelter, clean water, Abiyahuwah. Things that we take for granted, Abiyahuwah, clothing, Abiyahuwah, things that many of us take for granted that people all around the world don't even have access to, Abiyahuwah. We're allowing for those who are less fortunate than us, Abiyahuwah, to the Rabbah, Abiyahuwah. Thank you for all that you continue to do. We're just praying for everyone on this line. We're just praying that you please cover them, protect them, disperse your malakim, to watch over each and every sister here and even the sisters not on the line and their families and their loved ones, Abiyahuwah. To the Rabbi Abiyahuwah, we ask of you, we ask for forgiveness, we ask for redemption, Abiyahuwah. To the Rabbi Abiyahuwah, and all these things we ask of you, we allow for those who are dealing, Abiyahuwah, with addictions, Abiyahuwah, to substance abuse, Abiyahuwah, whatever it may be. We just ask, Abiyahuwah, that you remove the taste from their mouth, Abiyahuwah. Anything that your daughters, that your children are going through, Abiyahuwah, only you know better than any of us here, Abiyahuwah. We ask that you come into their life, Abiyahuwah. We ask that you remove all burdens, Abiyahuwah, heal all pain, wipe away the tears from every eye, Abiyahuwah, and continue to please Shamar, protect over your children, your Kudashim, your remnant, Abiyahuwah. To the Abiyahuwah, to the Rabba Abba, and all these things we allow in your name, who are named by Hashem, Yahusha HaMashiach, to the Rabba, Amanah. Amanah. To the Rabba, thank you, ladies, once again for showing up. Abi Yahuwah, please, Shamar, everybody here, Rafa, you, Sister Queen J, and your family, and everyone here. May the Most High just guard and gird everybody, and whatever you're going through, just cover you. Until we meet again, Aniyah Habatah. Ahaba or Shalom, okay? And many